Hi, you guys. Okay, Snowfall, Season 4, Episode 5. Okay, it's later on in the evening of the day of the baby girl's murder. Leon has to go on a run. Not only is Scully looking for him, the authorities are as well. Leon and Fatback rids the car, and Leon tells Fatback that they need to split up, and Fatback wasn't trying to hear it. Leon tells Fatback, look, I killed a child. You have to get away from me. Leon goes on down to his mother's house and he's looking for a shovel. And his mother said, what the hell are you looking for the shovel for? That $20,000 is gone. She tells Leon that she had some emergency, so she had to go out and use the money for herself, that she hasn't heard from him in months. Also, she tells him that he cannot stay there. Leon had to tell her, like, look, I'm the reason why you got this house. And she like, look, I have these other children here and you can't stay here. She gives him some petty cash, the robe off her back, and she sends him out the door, honey. I do not like how she treats Leon. She treats Leon like he's not worth a damn. And don't get me wrong, I believe that Leon may have put her through some things, but at this moment, she can sense that Leon is in some trouble. If he can provide these things for you and that's fine, you'll accept it, you can make a way. Like, I don't think she should have took his money. Yeah, she may have not seen him in months, but she could have contacted him. You be like Franklin mother. You see how she don't fully agree with his lifestyle, but she is trying to make a legitimate exit plan for her son. Although Leon told his mother that he had a place to go, he finds himself under the bridge with the homeless crew. Child, they said it's colder than a pigeon's pussy out there, so they was going to head over to the shelter, and they was like, you coming, Leon? I do believe that Leon could have found another place to go, somebody's house to chill in, but the two people that knows him best, his mother and Franklin, if he don't got them, he don't really trust anyone else. So that's how Leon wind up under the bridge. Leon hears some damn police sirens, honey. He get the fuck up out of there. He flew his ass down that Elton shelter, and I believe this is a safe place for him to go. Nobody is going to look for Leon there. Okay, down at the hospital, a cop is questioning Khadijah about the accident, what happened. And you know, Khadijah is not going to talk to no damn cops. That's not a part of their lifestyle. Courts will be handled in the streets. Also, rightfully so, Khadijah looked defeated, which if anyone loses a child, you will feel defeated because you are defeated at that moment. And in comes Scully. And Khadijah just sat there and she just let Scully be Scully because that's what he's going to do. He comes through the door, goes straight over to the dead bodies that was out there, and he's lifting up the sheets. He's trying to find his baby. He finds his baby girl and he has his moment. Even though I think Scully and Khadijah are just as much as liable for their baby girl's death as Leon and his crew, I do have compassion for them at this moment. To lose a child is terrible. And then to lose a child to gun violence or street violence, I think that's the worst of the worst to me, because kids is not supposed to be caught up in that. How the fuck does that even happen? Oh, just like we seen on last episode. They pulls up on the side of their enemy's car, they roll the window down, and they got it cracking while that baby girl was in the car. Did Khadijah say, no, don't shoot my motherfucking baby in the car? So that's my reasons for saying that she is just as much as liable as any of them that was in there. That baby shouldn't have been around none of that. Both her mother and father knew that they were at war with other people. Manboy shows up at the hospital and he offers his condolences to his sister. And Khadijah wasn't really trying to hear it at first. Khadijah asks Manboy, if you loved her so much, what was her middle name? And Manboy said her middle name was like our mother's name, Shantae. I may not have spent much time with her. I thought I had time, but I do love her. Manboy goes on to tell Khadijah that he just want to get the person who killed his niece. Now, I do think that Manboy condolence is sincere. I believe his shiesty ass has another agenda. Manboy goes over to Lloyd's bar, and it looks like he strong-armed his way in there. He has a big bodyguard with him. And he says to Franklin, me and Scully was beefing. But it's funny how tragedy can bring families closer together and make our beef seem so futile. My 5-year-old niece was murdered last night. And when Manboy says this, everyone in the room, their facial expression shows the look of concern. We're talking about a 5-year-old baby. Manboy continues and he said, and guess who the fuck did it? So Jerome, he said, Daffy fucking Duck. And I think the reason why Jerome said that is because Manboy coming there all strong-arming, thinking that he's the motherfucking man, and Franklin just standing there. Franklin looked like he's scared of him. Manboy just looks at Franklin and he tells him, your boy Leon. Now Manboy said, when my people fucked up, I made it right. I brought the fuck up right to your doorstep and made it right. I believe Manboy is full of shit on this one as well. Those dudes who he had go down there and spy on Franklin, I believe they wasn't his close boys like Franklin and Leon are brothers. I don't believe they was close to Manboy like that. They seemed like they was little gophers that do little side jobs for Manboy here and there. And when the opportunity of getting supplies from Franklin came along for Manboy, he said, okay, if I got to give them up for this opportunity, then that's what I'm going to do. Which, in my opinion, is not the same dynamic as Franklin and Leon. Franklin, Louie, and Jerome is now having a conversation about Leon, whether they should give Leon up to prevent a war, or they take the side of Leon and go to war with Scully and Manboy. Louie is going to say, this sounds like a Leon problem. I mean, he should have just been down with us from the beginning. We can't survive a war with Scully and Manboy. You're going to have to hand him over. Now, I was hot with Louie when she said this. Also, Louie and Franklin are two of a kind. If you notice, she is kind of Franklin's mentor. She basically showed him how to do everything as far as the connections with people. And every time it's looking down for Franklin, here come Louie. She knows how to maneuver that shit so it can the business can keep on going. Franklin and Louie are about business at all times, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when your moral compass start to be a little janky, i.e. choosing money over family and friends' lives, yeah, that's when it's time to question your moral compass. Gustavo goes over to Sister Girl's house to see the children. Except for Sister Girl did not know that Gustavo was in her house playing with her nephews, honey. So Sis pick up the phone and she is dialing 911. Please come help me. She grabs a bat and she's sneaking into the living room, and there she finds a drunken Gustavo playing with the children. Remember when we used to do this as children? We used to build a tent in the living room, like on a couch, or maybe even on the bed. This was like so fun. I don't see kids doing this anymore. I digress. Sister Girl was like, well, what happened to you don't want to be around them and hurt you too much? Gustavo said, I know, I miss them. And she said, well, it's not fair to them. You should not do this to them. I agree with her. I protect children emotional needs at all costs. You're not going to play with my kids' emotions. Gustavo is just in a playful move, and it gets her to fall into him. And she done forgot that she even called the police. So she does tell him, like, I called the police because I thought you was a burglar, but hang tight. You just sit right here, be good, and I'm going to get rid of them. We all know how the police is when they come to black and brown people houses, and they take a little situation and blow it up to be something else. And Gustavo gets locked up. Gustavo tells them as they're handcuffing him, he said, get off me. I'm CIA, you putos. Next morning, Teddy bails Gustavo out. And when Gustavo gets in the car, Teddy is like, look, I know you hurting and all, but this right here, this cannot happen. Gustavo is not trying to hear that shit. And rightfully, because Gustavo is the type, he don't fuck with no one unless somebody fuck with him. And he just keep on getting hurt and people testing him. It's too much for him. if he does not do little stuff like this, he would explode later on down the line. And I would hate to see how that turnout would be. Tully tells Gustavo that before he drop him off, he has to go see Franklin. Didn't even notice until Teddy asked where was Lerp that Lerp didn't show up the next day, like he told Franklin he would. Anyway, Franklin asks Teddy for his assistance. He tells Teddy that the 5-year-old little girl was killed and that he needs to know what the police know. And of course, we know Reed can do that for him. Reed tells him, yeah, just give me a couple hours. I'll get back to you. At this moment, I'm thinking that Teddy thinks that this stuff is getting way out of hand. He can't keep control over Gustavo, that shit that Franklin got going on down there, and the shit that he got to go through himself, and then Ivy. It's just too much. Later on that day, Gustavo has a conversation with Teddy, and he tells him, look, I'll behave and I'll do what you need me to do, but I'm going to need 2 things from you. One, I'm going to need to make $1,000 per kilo that I move. Money is protection, and I'm going to need some. Teddy said, cool, okay. Next thing Gustavo wants, he wants Teddy to locate Lucia. He tells Teddy, CIA can find people, so I need you to find her. Teddy said, that's interesting. You sitting up here, you're changing your life and everything. Do you think that it's wise to go back in the past? And Gustavo tells him, look, I just need to know. Once I find out and I get understanding from it, I can move on. For Gustavo, it's the not knowing that prevents him from moving on. And I can understand that. Okay, Alton had contacted Franklin about Leon being down at the shelter. Franklin goes down to the shelter and he gets Leon. And Franklin tapped Leon to wake up that he was there, and how Leon looked when he got up. I felt so bad for Leon. My heart broke. Franklin takes him over to Sissy's apartment complex, and he gives him one of the empty apartments, and he tells him, he gave him the keys, and he said, just stay here and lay low, and I'm going to bring you back something to eat. The gas and electric is still on. You good on that end? It looks that Leon is kind of relieved. Like, okay, I can kind of unwind, gather his thoughts. It's a real safe place for him. Leon isn't no fool, though. He tells Franklin that he need a gun for protection. And Franklin looked at Jerome to tell him to give Leon his gun. When Franklin and Jerome gets back in the car, Franklin asks Jerome, how do you think Leon looked back there? And Jerome said, I knew that boy all his life, and I ain't never seen him look like that. Damn it, Leon. I feel so bad for him. I can understand where Jerome is coming from, because when Leon woke up off that floor at the shelter, my heart broke. Also, him and Franklin it's kind of still awkward between them, because when he picked him up dropped him off at the apartment, I was like, damn, you couldn't even give him a hug. I think he need a hug right about now. Nevertheless, I'm happy that Franklin did go save his friend. Since Leon now has a moment to woosah, he lays down and take a nap, and he has a nightmare that Franklin came in with Jerome, and Leon wakes up to find a gun pointed at his face, and it's Franklin. Franklin shoots him, and this wakes Leon up again out of another dream, and off to another nightmare. We see Khadijah, and she's crying about the baby girl. And all of a sudden, it turns into her laughing at Leon, saying that this is it. He done fucked up now. And we see all of those things was just a dream, but it's fucking with him now. Like Jerome said, some people never recover from killing a child. Leon is now fully awake, and Sissy has came over. And she just have that look of, boy, what you gotten yourself into? Without saying it. She comes in, she tells Leon to sit on the floor, and she braids his hair. And I broke down and I cried on this scene. Sissy was giving Leon exactly what he needed. A human's touch to bring him back to reality. He needed a release. Okay, down at the morgue, Khadijah and Scully done stayed the night. And the doctor has came out to retrieve the baby girl's body to perform an autopsy. And Scully goes crazy. He's like, don't touch her. What the fuck are you doing? Can't you see that she been shot the fuck up? She doesn't need an autopsy. Scully is just going off, making threats. And this causes Khadijah to step in. And she said, you ain't gonna do shit, but let these people do their fucking job. She says to him, I can't do this anymore. I need to go home and get out of these clothes. Okay, Khadijah. Scully and Khadijah are back home now, and Man-Boy comes by. Scully said, what the fuck you here for, to rub it in my face that you told me so? And why the fuck you got that smirk on your face? Man-Boy said, nah, and I don't got no smirk on my face. Khadijah says to Scully, he's trying to apologize for me, and I need you to accept his apology for me. Khadijah just lost her baby girl, and here is two men that she loves still with the bullshit. Scully says to her, fuck you. This causes Man-Boy to step in. He said, hold up, that's still my sister. Scully pulls out his gun and pointed at Man-Boy's head. He said, what the fuck you gonna do? Man-Boy tells Scully, if you gonna kill me, kill me. But that's not gonna bring back Tiana, your daughter, my niece. And this pierced Scully. And he said, you told me not to have her around this shit. Now she's gone. Man-Boy tells him, it's not your fault, man. I'm confused right now. What are we even doing right now? Why was they even beefing in the first place? Was it about business conflicts, such as territory, product, cash flow? If it was, I can kind of understand that, the beef, the war that's going on. Or was this a family feud? Because you mean to tell me one out of the three of them couldn't come to a mutual ground that could have prevented all this stuff? I'm just saying, if Man-Boy and Scully and all them, the family wanted to play Hatfields and McCoy, they should have kept everyone else out of it. So Scully and Man-Boy are going to dab it up and run off in the sunset holding hands, as if they're not the reason as well why baby girl dead right now. Tragedy bring families closer, my ass. Scully was supposed to be dead 2 weeks ago. Did you forget that, Scully? He should have said, fuck Man-Boy, and if Khadijah want to go, she can go with your ass. Okay, Irene. Irene goes into work with her pile of work that she received from Tony Marino, and her boss is walking out with all her belongings, the one that she was having a drink with. She's getting fired, and Irene is pissed, and she's giving the white man a hard way to go. Irene is just that woman. She's just that type of woman that just gets under people's skin. Not in a bad way. It's just that she is demanding and persistent. That can sometimes rub people the wrong way. He has a publisher in his office that he needed to attend to, and Irene tells him, act like you run the place. I need you to look at this work immediately. So Irene gets everyone's attention, and Irene started connecting the dots up here on this board. The U.S. government is bringing in cocaine, and everyone is intrigued. Irene goes on to tell them that she's going to need all the resources to fully investigate far as researchers and investigators. Her boss said that's a lot to ask for. Irene says, really? Are you going to save this paper? I'm sure this story right here will keep the lights on. The publisher said, hold up, sis. You don't have a story. You have one source off record. What they was explaining to her is that they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. Her boss told her to find someone that can corroborate this story, such as a legitimate second source. And her assistant suggested Julia. So Irene said, no, she's CIA. He could have fucked her sister and she won't tell. I personally think that Julia would, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Irene gets an idea and she's like, how about the Colombian drug lords? Irene takes a trip up to LA Corrections to visit the Colombian brothers. And this duo is something else. So one of the brothers said, are you joking? The other one said, she can't be serious. Do you know how long we've been here? Too long. No calls, no lawyer, no trial. And then you show up asking for our help? And Irene is even like confused. She like, are you serious? The brother tells Irene 1 minute we're at LAX about the board to go see our sick grandmothers. Next thing they know, they were arrested, thrown in the cell, and forgotten about. So Irene tells them that this is the exact corruption she's trying to expose. Promise to do everything she can to see that he get a fair trial if they can confirm her story. Well, the brothers are saying, look, you want us to be a ratto? Irene says to them, it's not snitching if you're getting the guy that gave you up. This information kind of caught them by surprise. And the brothers say, excuse me, what? Irene tells them that Reed used them for a bargaining chip to bail out one of his assets. So please help me to help you. It looks like they're going to work with her because it looked like they didn't have any idea that Reed set this up, which they probably didn't. Ultimately, Irene's boss gives her the resources that she needs to complete the story. However, he advises Irene that she needs to find a weak link, someone that wants to talk. He says to her, the stronger your source, the better your credibility will be. And if she was to get someone like that on record, then all the other pieces will fall into place. Y'all just keep Irene in your hearts. I think if she cracked this story open and put it out there, Teddy might be the one that come kill her. He ain't got time for this shit. He has cocaine to move. At home, Franklin asked Sissy why did she go see Leon. And Sissy told Franklin, because he's no different from you, Franklin. I'm sure a lot of us can relate Sissy's empathy towards Leon. If you are a parent and your children has grown up with a childhood friend pretty much all their lives, that friend sometimes become your child as well. Leon probably stayed over Franklin's house and Sissy fed him. If Leon was in her care and Leon was acting up, Sissy had to be the one to correct him. If Sissy is out at the store and she's buying Franklin a Batman shirt, she got to buy a Robin one for Leon. When you're doing all of these things for years, you have no other choice but to become connected. Sissy didn't know exactly what was wrong with Leon, and I'm just happy that she showed him some type of humanity because he needed that at that moment. Franklin get a page and he meets up with Teddy. Teddy tells him that Leon's fingerprints was found on one of the bullets that was found on the scene of the crime. So with that being said, they do know that Leon had to be there. I'm thinking maybe Leon bullets didn't hit baby girl because they would have had said her autopsy probably found bullets that had his fingerprints on them. They didn't say that. So maybe his bullets didn't penetrate baby girl. I don't know. We will see later on down the line for that. Teddy goes on to say, I'll do everything on my end that I can, but understand that all y'all are listed as known associates. So the longer it takes for them to find Leon, the more heat you're going to feel. And Franklin said, I understand. And Teddy, he said, I know you two are close, but it's no getting around this. And Franklin cut him off and said, I said I understand. At this point, Franklin is stuck. Does he turn his back on his day one friend? Franklin, this was your fault. Not entirely, but you definitely kick-started this. This is your little small fire that got big. Next, we see the suspects of the murder on the news. It's Leon Simmons and Thaddeus Barber. We see Leon's mother taking in this news, seeing her son on picture plastered on the news. Yeah, she know her son is a bad boy, but will she stand with Leon knowing that Leon wouldn't just kill a kid senselessly? Alton looks disgusted. And I think it's not only with Leon, but with Franklin as well, knowing that the drug pushing is the root cause of this chaos. I really think Alton is going to explode soon. Louis hears the news and Louis is over Leon's messy situation. She tells Franklin to take Jerome. They pick up Leon, tell him that they need to relocate him. Once they get out far enough, do what needs to be done. These fools need Jesus. My thing is, Louis, what if Claudia people come for you and they're looking for you, but they can't find you, so they got to go through Franklin. Now you're making business hot. Should Franklin turn his back on you and drive you out to somewhere and do something to you? What if Louis goes down Little Rock and this is where her trouble meets her? And I was wondering if this Little Rock connection, if the storyline will align with real life. If you ever seen the documentary on gang wars in Little Rock, well, it speaks about how the connections came from LA and they brought the Blood and Crips culture to Little Rock. And it was really good. Check it out. But I wonder if they're going to play off that. That'll be nice. Okay, back to the shit over here. Scully is getting a tattoo of Tiana on his back, and it looks nice. And man, boy, sitting his red ass over there in the corner, talking about you should get some birds too. Let this scene be a teachable moment. Stay out of family bullshit because they will eventually kiss and make up, and you will be dead or in jail. I digress. Khadijah comes out and she says, "What the fuck is this? Y'all niggas sitting around while my baby killer is roaming the street?" Man boy said, "Calm down, we on it." Khadijah said, "Y'all ain't on shit but y'all asses. I don't care what need to be done or how it get done, but both y'all ass owe me, and I want Leon and that fat motherfucker dead." Okay, Miss Mamas has spoken. Scully gets his ass up and he tells Man Boy to stay with Khadijah. Okay, back at the safe house, Leon looks a little renewed. He goes on a balcony and he can see the neighbor's TV, and he's looking at himself and Fat Boy plastered on the screen. This makes Leon panic. So he goes down and creep down to the projects and in his house to retrieve his money that he had stashed inside of the couch. And I think that was a good hiding spot. I wouldn't think to look there. Leon leaves out and he runs right into motherfucking Scully, who was sitting in a car waiting for his ass. Leon is now running a marathon. Scully is on his tail, and out of thin air, here comes Franklin saving Leon's ass. Now, will Franklin keep his friend safe or will he give him up? Because I'm trying to figure out why Man Boy met up with Franklin. I know Scully told you what happened. If Franklin didn't give Leon to Scully, he's not going to give Leon to you. Man Boy says to Franklin, "No Leon? Okay, no business. I remember it was a time you had Compton, Inglewood, and the projects. You may have the plug, but who are you going to sell it to? You're the one who asked how to end this beef. Give up Leon, I get Scully to lay down. Everything will go back to the way it was." Franklin tells his ass, "The difference between me and you, I don't give up my people." That's right, Franklin. I am so happy Franklin did the right thing. Man Boy goes on to say he respected Franklin's business ethics. Franklin never made it personal. Even if Man Boy didn't like something, he could respect it because it was consistent with Franklin's business ethics. Man Boy feels that because Franklin considers Leon family, now it's personal for Franklin, and Franklin isn't playing by his own rules, and he can't respect that. Well, can Franklin say the same about Man Boy? What was this beef about between Man Boy and Scully anyway? Was it personal or was it business? I don't know. I think that Leon and Franklin need to get together. They need to get them a crew, and they need to take Scully and Man Boy ass out of here. That's where the story ends, you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.